Today we're going to be going over how to mount your launch monitor to your Pro Golf Enclosure kit using a Carl's Place frame mount. You can purchase this frame mounting kit for any overhead launch monitor available from Carl's Place. With the Carl's Place Pro Golf Enclosure kit, you have the option of mounting your launch monitor either to a crossbar within the enclosure or this front bar that goes along the leading edge of the enclosure. Today we are going to be doing the crossbar inside the enclosure, but if you did decide to mount it to this front bar, the process is going to be essentially the same. So this is going to be all the hardware that comes with your launch monitor frame mounting kit. In this case, this is going to be for the Unicore IXO. Your particular plate here might be a little different depending on the launch monitor that you're selecting. Since we're going to be doing this on the crossbar, you can see we have taken the crossbar out of our Pro Golf Enclosure kit and have it on the ground. That's going to make putting this plate onto the crossbar much simpler. So the first step to installation is taking a top and a bottom clamp and setting it up on your crossbar. You're going to have one on each side. As you're going through and doing this, you want to make sure you're paying attention to the placement of the clamps. In our case, we have this center fitting here, which is perfectly centered on our frame. That might not be the case for you, so you just want to make sure you're paying attention to that and placing your clamps where you actually want the launch monitor set up. All right, so the first thing we do is place this bottom clamp at the bottom of our crossbar, put the top clamp at the top. We're going to take one of our large bolts, make sure that the holes here are lined up. We'll put it in there, take our Allen wrench, give it a few turns. Then we're going to make sure everything's lined up on the back. We take the large bolt, put it in the hole, and again, just tighten it down with a few turns. So before we fully tighten this one down, we are going to put the other set of clamps on, just so we can make sure that we get everything lined up correctly. So again, bottom clamp on the bottom, top on the top, everything's lined up. We'll put our bolt in and tighten it down a bit, and we'll repeat that on the back side. So just a quick side note, if you're going to have a setup where one of your brackets is on the fitting and the other is off of a fitting, you're going to want to use this spacer. So just as an example, this is what it looks like underneath our crossbar sleeve here. So this bracket you can see is on top of our fitting. If you needed to, for your situation, mount the second bracket so it's not on the fitting, you can put this over to the side. You can see that this fitting is a little bit thicker than the pipe. So if you had a bracket on the fitting and one off, you're going to need to have this spacer that you put between your bracket and the mounting plate to make sure that everything's nice and level. This kind of accommodates for the lack of depth that you're getting from the pipe as opposed to the fitting. So the next step in the process is going to be installing the base plate to your brackets. You want to take your base plate and put it over the top of the brackets, and the reason we left these a little bit loose is so we have some room for adjustment. So we can slide that out just a hair, and it looks like we've got that lined up fairly well now. So we take our medium-sized bolts, and we are going to put those right through these holes and tighten down. Start off with just finger tightening first at the beginning, and then we'll come back and tighten everything down nice and solid here once we get this all lined up. So now that we have all of these finger tight, we're going to go back over and really tighten these down to lock it in place. Then, once we have that tightened, we're going to flip this back over. We can tighten down these bolts on the bracket that we had left finger tight earlier. And that's going to help to keep the bracket in place. So now that we have the mount installed on the crossbar, the next step would be to mount any additional plates that may have come with your launch monitor. We want to show you what that looks like and what these extra screws, the small screws, are for. So we're going to be installing the Unicore IXO. This is what the plate that comes with the Unicore looks like. Obviously, if you're not using this, your launch monitor plate might look a little different. But what you need to do is turn this back up, and then it's just a matter of lining up the mounting holes on your plate from your launch monitor with the mounting holes on the base plate of the frame mount. You put these screws in place and then you are going to be set to go to put your crossbar up. So the next step is putting your crossbar back in place. When you're doing this step, you just want to make sure you have the plate facing the correct direction. If it's not oriented right, you just want to flip it around so that everything is set up properly. So we put the crossbar in one side and push it all the way through. We move it up into place on this one, and might take a little bit of wiggling, but it should go right in. I need a little more. There we go. All right, that's good. You just need to make sure when you're putting this back up that the crossbar is covering the last bolt, so that when you bolt this down, it's got something to clamp onto. Also, before securing your crossbar in place, you want to make sure that your mounting plate is nice and level. So when you put your launch monitor up here, it's going to be nice, level surface and ready to go. So that is the process for mounting a frame enclosure mount to the crossbar of your Pro Golf Enclosure. If you wanted to instead mount that frame enclosure mount to the front bar of your enclosure, it's a very similar process, and we will link a video to that below. As always, make sure you like and subscribe for more content on building your own golf simulator setup.